We talk about campaign finance and the destructive effect of money in politics on this program all the time. And Dylan Matthews over at Vox.com wrote up an article about an idea from Ian Ayres and Bruce Ackerman from Yale Law. They are Yale law professors, and they argue more secrecy rather than less could be the solution to the problem of money in politics. And they say, instead of strengthening mandatory disclosure rules, we should abandon them altogether, where all donations are secret, especially to the recipient. And their insight is, listen, for quid quo pro to work, the paid off party needs to, it's necessary to know who has donated the money, right? So in other words, when we hear that Comcast and Time Warner have donated a whole bunch of money to all of the members of Congress that will be in charge of approving or not approving their merger, we say, well, we should get money out of politics and blah, blah, blah. What if they were allowed to donate whatever money they want if they believe that senators are actually doing good things, but it has to be completely secret? The members of Congress are not allowed to know that it was Comcast or Time Warner. This would solve two issues, Lewis. Number one, we always ask, well, if both the donor and the recipient say, no, the donations aren't in exchange for specific actions. Hey, if it's secret, then their donation activity should not change whatsoever, and the actions of the elected officials should not change whatsoever. It would allow us to explore that, and it would obviously make it so that you eliminate the chance of these knowing quid pro quos because they don't know who donated to them. It's a very interesting idea.
It's an interesting one, but it's a naive one because let's face it, there's only about a billion ways for these donors to, to let the people they're donating to know that it was them who gave them the money.
No
right?
question about it. Right. So that becomes the obvious issue, which is Comcast can still say, hey, we gave you this much, but then it becomes much more obvious. Think about it. In the system where there is mandatory disclosure, Comcast doesn't have to tell the legislators. So if we have a system of secret donations, and then Comcast chooses to very directly inform the legislator anyway, it now proves that these donations are being made with the idea of specific kickbacks or payoffs in mind. So even that would be a better situation than the one we have now.
Well, I'm saying that presumably this notification would happen in secret and that the politician would not want anyone to know that they know where this donation came from. I mean, it could be something as simple as the Bank of America, the address, the number for the Bank of America headquarters, and a correlation between that and the amount of money donated. I mean, there's really no way to stop it.
In addition to the secret part of it that I already mentioned, the plan would also give every registered voter in the United States $50 every election cycle to give to candidates for federal offices, whether they're running for president, Senate, House. They call these Patriot dollars, do Ackerman and Ayres. And when they were asked, well, why a voucher? They say without the vouchers, the secret donation system mostly will just further entrench incumbents. Incumbents have been there for many years. They're well known. And with a substantial amount of public financing of the kind we're describing, it would be very difficult for insurgents to win. The donation vouchers would mean that the source of money is also more democratic. So you make everything secret and you give everybody $50, which, hey, if it's secret, you might not feel bad or guilty about donating to a third party. And it would also further democratize our system. I think that that's kind of a separate part. It is interesting, the idea of a fixed amount of money that everybody gets to contribute to candidates. That seems incredibly impractical. I think the biggest issue with this is what Lewis said, which is that the donors will still have a way of communicating that their donation took place. But as a thought experiment, it's very interesting that if all donations were secret, would corporations still make the exact same donations? I think the answer is obviously no, which just confirms to us that the donations are being made. I mean, obviously, any idiot would realize this. The donations are being made to secure or influence political kickbacks.
Of course. Yeah, it's going to be a long time before we can fundamentally change this system.
This is viewer-supported independent media. Please support our program by going to davidpakman.com/membership and becoming a member today.